Hello everyone, welcome back to another week of the PBU. This is Darky again, and I'll be bringing to you my battle against the Amsterdam what's their face with Fishy, that guy whose name I still can't pronounce. Uh the Netherlandian, the man of the hour, the heat set not master. Definitely the heatest person on the either league I've been in. Not the most successful with the heat sets, however, but certainly the heatest sets I've ever seen. Amsterdam, what was it? The Amsterdam Arcanines. Funnily enough, we're the ones with Arcanine are on our team, except not for this battle. Unfortunately for my opponent, we'll be going with something very different. Let's take a look real quick at our team for this week. We've got Shijinko, the Mew, Expert Belt, Synchronized Ice Beam, Flash Cannon, Sucker Punch, Side Shock. Hits pretty much all of my opponent's teams super effectively. I'm going very fast because he's going to eat in about 10 minutes. So Gengar, Salamence, Crocodile, Empoleon, Lictros, Magmortar, Mega Guard, Shaman, Heracross, Terator, Aurorus. We'll see real quick that we do not have anything to tank in on the potential Scarf or Bended starter. So with that in mind, we're going for a very offensive-oriented team. We've got Scarf Curem, we've got Speed Boost, Mega Sharpedo, obviously not Speed Boost while it's Mega, Psychic Fangs in order to deal with Aurorus' potential screens, Waterfall, Ice Beam, Protect, Ice Beam in order to hit the likes of Shaman, the likes of Salamence, the likes of Crocodile, after the Intimidates. We've got the Togekiss, Nasty Plot, Bat and Pass, Wish, and Dazzling Gleam. Physically defensive. We've got physically defensive, but I still can't take two. I can't take more than one double edge, so I'll have to be careful about that. Stealth Rock, Rapid Spin, Ice Shard, Earthquake, Epiphany, the Dawn Fan, and we've got the Heat, Assault Vest, Heliolisk. So Little Foes has enough speed to outspeed, let's see, 168 is enough speed to outspeed a starter that's not Choice Scarfed. So with that out of the way, and I've been going as fast as I could, never mind. So, it seems Freesh is going to be going out to eat right now, so I'm going to make this a bit of a longer video. Hopefully he comes back within 20 minutes. I'll take this chance to go over the league here, the PBU. I promised I would do that eventually, and I never did. So let's take this third week, this chance we've been given, in order to go over everything here. So we've got the we've got 10 teams, 12 teams rather. The Philadelphia Flygons, which are coached by Nico, who is also in the league, the FDL, with me. The Green Bay Pranksters is coached by Phantom, also a returnee. The Boston Dweezels is coached by a guy I didn't know before then. We call him Jayhawk, I believe. That's, yeah, the Boston Dweezels. Jayhawk has a pretty interesting team. We'll be covering that a bit later. We've got the Atlanta Shocks, which are coached by Bobbert. Initially, there was going to be another player in his place. They left. So Bobbert had to make do with a team that was drafted by someone else. He did get a few free trades in order to balance it out the way he wanted. Still managed to make a very good team with it. So hopefully he'll be fine. We've got the Jacksonville Jolteons, Jacksonville Jolteons, coached by King of Crimea, I believe is what he calls himself on the group chat. This time on Discord, and not on Skype. This one. Anyhow, King of Crimea, which shows that the Jacksonville Jolteons' coach has very fine taste in video games. Crimea being a reference to the not the real life province that was taken over by Russia, but the country featured in Fire Emblem Path of Radiance and Fire Emblem Radiant Dawn, which I'll save you the I'll save you the pain of listening to me rant about video games. But I love those games. They're probably some of my favorite video games of all time. And as a huge Fire Emblem fan myself, I believe this duology is probably my favorite. So, King, you like your choice. You really like your taste in video games. Assuming you like other similar games as Fire Emblem Path of Radiance and Radiant Dawn, or maybe he's just into Elincia, the queen, Crimea's queen, princess in the first game. And if he is, he's just weeble trash like I am, and he's into his waifu or something. But that I didn't get that impression from him. But I could be wrong. Who knows? Going forward, we've got the Miami Heatas, also a returnee from the SDL. That's Loris, by the way. We've got the Montreal Mawals, yours truly. Montreal Mawals, coached by Dark UA. We've had a lot of success in this league already. Mew's been putting in a lot of work, insane amounts of work, and hopefully they'll keep going in the next battle. The upcoming battle against him. So it's going to be it's a bit of a brick joke now, but since I still can't pronounce his name, everyone's been messing around with him. Hopefully he doesn't hate me for it, but anyhow. We've got Winchester Whimsicots returning from the SDL as well. That's Cell. Zimbabwe Zoro Arcs. The Zimbabwe Zoro Arcs are coached by Zuvi. I think Zuvi. I'm not sure how he pronounces it. But I believe a few members of the SDL had already played with him in another league. So there's a bit of a connection there. The Zimbabwe Zoro Arcs have been I don't know how well they've been doing. It hasn't been updated here. It seems they've lost their battles. I know I watched the replays, but off the top of my head, I can't remember. No offenses, of course. But I don't remember taking any mental notes over my opponent's playstyle. So hopefully I'll be proven wrong in the upcoming battles. I did talk with him a little over Discord. He was in the group chat, the voice chat, and he sounded like a pretty nice guy. So hopefully he manages to get a few wins. Next we've got the Charlotte Carbinks. You've all already seen my battle against this guy. Coached by General Tar Heel. He has his own YouTube channel. Hopefully I have put the channel link in the description of the video in which I battle him. Hopefully. Not much of a spoiler at this point, but obviously we've won against him. Tar Heel has been participating in other leagues as well, and he's been uploading the other ones on his channel. So definitely check him out. Skarmory, Entei, Mimikyu, Porygon 2, Araquanid, Primeape, Megalarias, Weavile, Nihilego, Rotom, Cut, and Carbink. Really weird choice picking up Carbink. I think I'm still not over that. The rest of the team is really solid though. Anyhow, I'll cover that in a bit. Just checking if Frisch is back. Doesn't look like he is. He did say 20 minutes. Let's keep going. So we've got the Amsterdam Arcanines, Frisch, of course, who actually managed a very good battle, very good victory against, I believe it was the Green Bay Pranksters, actually. Let's see. Frisch. No, it was against Loris. So he won against he lost against Nico, but he won against Loris. Interestingly enough. Sorry if I sound a bit tired. Uh, I am. I definitely am tired. But in any case, next we've got the Alabama Alakazams, coached by Justin. We've also seen my battle against this guy last week. Well, last week for me, but for you guys, I'll be uploading. I've been having trouble with my internet, basically. Upload speeds are not very optimal, to say the least. But we're going to be upgrading next week. Next week will be the let's see, on Wednesday the 15th. And once that happens, we're going to get very good internet speed, upload speed, download speed. So I'll be able to upload all the videos, all of them. So there's about like 6 or 7 videos that I'm going to be uploading all at the same time. Hopefully, it's not going to discourage too many of you from watching me, from listening to my voice, listening to my videos, watching me play Pokemon. But that's definitely going to be a huge amount of content, with not a lot of viewers, to be fair. But I'm hoping everyone will take the time to enjoy all of them. Although at this point, if you've been watching this video, you've probably seen most of the other ones. So yeah. In any case, now that I've covered pretty much every team, let's quickly go over what they've drafted. So Nico drafted Zapdos, Tapu Fini, Nidoking, Haxorus, Registeel, Golurk, Mega Houndoom, Celebi, Conkeldurr, Braviary. Oh, again, sorry about that. And Lycanroc Day. Day form is a bit more competitively viable. It's a lot faster, of course. Not as tanky, but better as a suicide lead, most definitely. I don't think it outclasses the likes of Aerodactyl, though, so I don't know how viable it is. I don't even remember if we've put it in tier 4 or tier 3. Whichever the case. My thoughts on Nico's team. Zapdos, Tapu Fini, very good mons, very good defensive mons, very good, surprisingly good offensive options if you want to do that. Zapdos even gets agility. It gets, of course, the electric stabs. Still doesn't get Earth Slash for some reason, or Hurricane, which makes it struggle a bit more. But still definitely a Pokemon worth checking out. It gets U-turn if you want to mess around with your opponent, because they may think switching in a ground type is going to be safe, and then you U-turn on them, and then you gain some good momentum from that by going into the likes of Tapu Fini, Nidoking most definitely. Even Mega Houndoom, depending. Conkeldurr, of course, is an amazing Pokemon. I owe my Season 2 victory of the SDL to that Pokemon, so as much as I don't like it, design-wise, I can't argue against it power-wise. Definitely one of the most dangerous Pokemon out there. Haxorus, which I actually intended to draft for the most part, and then it was drafted before I could. Haxorus, very good setup sweeper. Not much else to say about Haxorus. Of course, it can run other things like the substitute set. Banded or Scarfed are good for it. but it's a fairly straightforward Pokemon. Nidoking is more interesting on that front, with the amazing physical and special coverage it gets. Oh, still a bit slow, but that can be managed. Mega Houndoom. Mega Houndoom is a bit of a tough sell. Powerful, yes, but very frail for a Mega. And I say this even though I myself have drafted the Mega Sharpedo. However, Mega Sharpedo has a much better coverage than Mega Houndoom does. In any case, next we've got Celebi, which is the uh, Philadelphia team's Z captain, which is interesting. Sylvie gets a lot of defensive options. However, stuff like the Baton Pass, the Healing Wish and stuff. Not Healing Wish, but the whatchamacallit. In any case, the Z moves that heal the incoming Pokemon or heal the Pokemon up to full are banned in this league. So interestingly enough, my opponent still decided to, not my opponent, but rather this competitor, Nico, who actually created this league, decided to go for Celebi. And it doesn't exactly have the best coverage options as far as offensive goes. So I think that was a bit of a weird choice for Z Captain. Still, doesn't look like Frisch is back yet. Alright, so yeah, definitely a bit weird. Braviary is good. Bulk Upset, Brave, Scarf, Brave Bird. You've got the Work Upset. I've seen work once or twice. It can be pretty bulky actually. Of course, Defog and Tailwind support is always good. Did I mention anything about my opponent's Stealth Rocks options? Because I'm not my opponent again. Rather, Nico's. Nico's Stealth Rocks options are Celebi that can rock, Registeel, Golurk, and I think Golurk gets Stealth Rocks. Yeah, yeah, and Nidoking, which means he's probably the team with the most Stealth Rockers out of them all, which is really good. Means he doesn't have to depend on any one Pokemon in order to remove hazards or set up hazards. Even though, unfortunately for him, he only has defoggers and no rapid spinners. Defoggers in the form of Zapdos. Oh. In the form of Zapdos and in the form of Braviary. Which means he has to bring birds to his battles, which makes prepping against him a bit easier, I think. Unfortunately. Next, Phantom's got Landorus T. Keldeo, Delmice, we've got Florges, Moltres, Electivire, Mingo Garchomp, Manibuzz, Venomoth, Z-Captain Venomoth actually, Escavalier and Gothitelle. Pretty much, my opponent has very solid defensive options. Very bulky team, with the exception of like Venomoth is more of an offensive Pokemon, and then Keldeo, which I've managed a physically defensive set before. Keldeo is pretty fast. I think it's my opponent's fastest Pokemon actually, which makes his team actually rather slow overall. Definitely a scary team though. There's a lot of power packed behind Landorus, Keldeo, Delmice, Garchomp, and Escavalier. And then you've got the Trapper, Gothitelle, which is, of course, a pain to deal with. A bit of a weird team. I think Phantom has drafted the weirdest team I've seen him draft so far. Delmice is a good rapid spinner. Landorus is a great stealth rocker. Moltres can do a good special sweeper if his opponent has slow Pokemon, and if they don't, it's a great Toxic Star. It's a great it can be a great wall against some things, but Rock moves just decimate it, so that's very scary. Mega Chomp can be defensive or offensive. Gets slower as a Mega Chomp, however, but he is not forced to go for the Mega, which is interesting in this league. It was the same in the SDL, of course. But we've got Medibuzz. Medibuzz is a great Pokemon, definitely one of my favorites. I maybe perhaps a bit of redundancy in my opponent's types. As we can see, my opponent doesn't have many switch-ins for ice moves. His only switch-in for ice moves being the Escavalier, which is not optimal. Not optimal at all. Who has the Mamoswine in this league? The Atlanta Shocks have Mamoswine. So if Bobbert decided to come in with the Hidden Power Fire Mamoswine, they pretty much decimate my opponent's team. It's not even funny. Hopefully he doesn't think of that. But yeah, that's one-sided, even. That's kind of disgusting. Uh, with that aside, uh, oh, oh, you've got myself. The Montreal Mawals have drafted Mew, Toxapex, Donphan, Arcanine, Swallow, Gurgeist, Mega Sharpedo, Togekiss, Kyurem, Cobalion, and Heliolisk. At this point, I've pretty much covered all the options on my team, but I'll still make a bit of time in order to talk about the reason why I drafted these mons. So I drafted Mew, obviously because we were doing Z moves this time, and Mew learns everything in the game, which means Mew basically is God. And it is. It really is. Mew is the undisputed most dangerous Pokemon in this format. Because of that, a lot of people complain that Mew is hard to use because there's just too many options and they get lost. They don't know what to do with it because there's so much potential and they can't focus it on anything. I don't believe we're going to have that problem at all. Mew is actually currently at the top of the MVP chart in this league. We've been doing very well with it. I expect to be doing it very well with it in every game. And the thing is, Mew does not have to rely on the Z move, but it can definitely use it. So, oh, and I guess Genesis Supernova is banned, by the way. Unfortunately, couldn't bring that to a battle. Would make Mew insanely broken. So that's unfortunate, but still, Mew. You can do anything with it. It can be a wand, either Spectrum, it can be a setup sweeper, it can be a straight up sweeper, it can be bedded, it can be skip packs, it can set up on either Spectrum, it can set up defenses, it can baton pass, it can set up rocks, it can knock off, it can will-o-wisp, it can do anything. It's got various healing options. It's got access to most of the hazards, and not most of the hazards, rather most of the status problems. It's just you can tether set it up. You can tether it up to match any opponent, which is great. Toxapex, along with the Arcanine and the Gorgeist, are my water fire grass core. At first, I was going to go for the Decidueye. Unfortunately, that was drafted before I could take it. I'm not sad about any of it though. Gorgeist is still one of my favorite Pokemon. It's a bit slower than I would like. The defensive ones, at the very least. It does mean that I get a bit of flexibility if I want to bring a small pumpkin with more speed or a bigger pumpkin with more power. So that's an interesting thing to think about. So between Mew, Donphan, and Cobalion, we've got 3 Stealth Rockers, which is really good. Mew gets the Defog, Donphan gets the Rapid Spin, Toxapex, of course, gets the Poison Spikes, which is always good. Swallow gets Defog, but of course we're not going to be using Swallow for Defog, probably not. Swallow gets to be a physical or special sweeper though. Anyhow, we've got Togekiss for the Defog, however. We've got we've got solid options for removal, and we've got solid options for setup. Dunpan, of course, rapid spins. Gorgeist, Leech Seed support is always good. Will-O-Wisp support is always good. Generally a difficult Pokemon to deal with after you've lost your Dark types and after you've lost your Fire types. So, great Pokemon to have. Although I don't think I've used him yet. We're definitely not bringing him this week. But it'll get its time in the sunlight. Definitely. Gorgeist is pretty good. I like using it. Next, we've got Mega Sharpedo. Great Pokemon, especially in a league where you don't have to Mega Evolve on the first turn. For you see, this means Mega Sharpedo gets access to regular Sharpedo's Speed Boost, which makes it that much more dangerous. With a Speed Boost, I get to maybe set up the substitute, scare out opponents faster. Mega Sharpedo gets the Psychic Fangs, which we are bringing this week in order to potentially break the Aurora Veil. If my opponent wants to bring that, so that's going to be very useful. Great Psychic attack. Very sad that Mew doesn't learn it. Anyhow, Mega Sharpedo. It's a sweeper. Of course, it's not going to be tanking anything. Very poor defenses. Gotta be careful around priority moves, but easily one of the most threatening Pokemon in the format right now with this speed boost on. We've got Togekiss, Wish Passer, Baton Passer, Nasty Plot user, Tailwind user, great defenses, excellent special attack, not that fast, but not slow either. Fairy type, so that means that I get a I get the Dragon Fairy and Steel Core in there, even though my Steel doesn't exactly resist Fairy, unfortunately, as it is Cobalion. But I do deal with Fairy, the Fairy type fairly well thanks to Arcanines, so I don't have to worry about that too much. Nevertheless, wait, do I have a dragon? Yes, I do have a dragon. It's Kyurem. It's right there. It's the next Pokemon. So, Togekiss, Kyurem, Cobalion as my Dragon Fairy. And Steel type core. Kyurem, very offensive Pokemon, but can be defensive. It does get Roost. It has powerful stabs. Gets Draco. Gets Dragon Pulse. Gets Ice Beam. Gets Outrage. Gets Iron Head if I want to go physical. Earth Power, great coverage move, great coverage option. Base 130 in both special attack and attack, which makes it threatening as all hell. Great Scarfer, honestly, and that's what we're bringing this week. Yeah, don't have much more to say about Kyurem, definitely. Cobalion. One of the great things about Cobalion is that it gets Volt Switch, and we did manage to get a lot of millage out of that in that first battle against, I think it was Tar Heel. It was. And so between Mew, Cobalion, Heliolisk, and maybe Swallow, we can get a lot of Volt Turning going around, and I'm probably going to be bringing that around 1 week or another. So look forward to that. Then next, last but not least, we've got a water immunity in the form of Heliolisk with the dry skin. If anyone brought sand, I could always take the Sandvale, whatever. So good normal type, which means I do get the Stab Hyper Voice, which does also mean that I get a Ghost immunity, which is pretty good since my main strongest Pokemon is Mew. Definitely needed the Ghost immunity on the team. Heliolisk is a bit of a one-trick pony, except that this time we're bringing Assault Vest. Let's see how that works out. We have a bit of HP investment, everything that didn't go into speed. Didn't want to bother going full speed since we're not going to be outspeeding the likes of Gengar and Salamence anyways. So might as well just ensure that we outspeed the likes of Magmortar, Mega Guard, Shaman, maybe, Staraptor if it's not Scarfed. And just make sure that we outspeed those, and tank the harsher hits from the likes of Electros, and then the harsher hits from the likes of perhaps the special Salamence. Tank the Gengar and Revenge KO it, stuff like that. Yeah, I'm just going to look over the set actually. Did I give the thing normal stab? I gave it Signal Beam, which is better, actually, now that I think about it. So, that's good. That's very good. Anyhow, the Winchester Winsicots, I've got Latios, Gliscor, Tentacruel, Chestnut, Avalon Mach, Mismagius, Megaglalie, Volcarona. The Z-Captain Volcarona is very interesting, although I'm not sure he's going to ever get to use the Z moves on it, since it wants to use Quiver Dance. It wants to use that flame move, whatchamacallit, that raises its Fury Dance. That raises special attack. And because it wants to use those moves over regular moves, the Z moves are not going to be the best moves to go for. Definitely not the best. I definitely don't think Volcarona was the correct Pokemon to hand the Z Crystals over to. Pokemon that would have appreciated it, probably maybe Mismagius, maybe Latios, definitely Tentacruel would have liked it. Maybe even Sylveon. I do believe that the worst use of the Z Crystal Captain has got to be this one. I don't think Volcarona is going to be able to use it at all, which is quite unfortunate. Yeah, I don't have much else to say. Avalon Mach, of course, is very prized in this format right now since it deals with the Tapus. That's despite the fact that Tapu Lele is banned in this league. It deals rather well with Coco. It deals rather well with any fairy types. It deals rather well with any psychic types. And it deals rather well against special attacking poison types as well. So that's pretty good. Basically, that thing is a pretty good special wall with great attack, good ability in the form of the Poison Touch, great synergy with Poison Jab, good Pokemon all around. I like Alolan Muck. I've even used it on my Sun Moon team for a while. For a good long time. Gliscor's great, Tentacruel's great. Great defensive mons all around. We've got Chestnut as well. Sylveon can be a great special wall. Magnezone is tanky. So, Stella this season in this league brought a very tanky team, which is somewhat unlike him. And it doesn't look like it's been working out for him all too well. So hopefully he's going to get used to that team a bit more. Maybe he has to depend on Latios, Mismagius, and Megaglalie a bit more for offense. Yeah. We've got G-Hawk next with the Boston whatchamacallem. I'm bad with names, I'm so sorry everyone. So the Boston Buizels. The Boston Buizels. Jirachi, great mon. Great use of DZ Captain privilege. Z Captain privilege on Jirachi means that it gets access to so many moves. However, I don't think that Z moves retain their secondary effect bonus, which means that Jirachi does lose out on his signature flinching and status inflicting if he's going for a Z move, which perhaps makes it a bit less threatening. Definitely gotta be careful around Jirachi though, since like Mew it gets most moves. Let us set up options, can be physical or special, can be tanky or offensive, and it can end your day. So definitely got to be careful around what you bring around this thing, because it can and will have a move in order to counter its counters. Breloom, very good support user. Priority, very strong Pokemon. Technician or FX Explorer. FX Explorer might be a bit on the haxy side, perhaps. And last but not least, we've got the Poison Heal. Poison Heal Loom is very threatening for some things, against slower teams in particular. Teams that don't have a good grass type are going to struggle against this thing. Blastoise is always a solid option, good rapid spinner. Zygarde 10%, interesting Pokemon to use in this format since it is very frail but also very threatening with the use of the 1000 arrows, which it keeps. 1000 arrows allows it to rely on a single attack if it wants to. Zygarde does get a few support options, although the 10% form isn't really tanky enough to go for most of them. Tank Null, very good support Pokemon. Definitely a superior option to Silvally in this format, I believe. I really don't like Silvally. I don't like it despite Silvally being at the top of the MVP chart for at the top of the MVP chart for the SDL, and that the reason for that is that Silvally depends on a lot of support from the team. Every time Freesh, I think it was it Freesh or was it Justin? One of them was using Silvally really well, but it cost him so much synergy, so much investment into making sure that Silvally gets a kill, that ultimately they lost a lot of games because of that. And yeah, it makes Silvally not fitting at all. Having the combination of having to invest. Yes, I am. So Freesh is ready. So Freesh is ready. That's good. That is very good. I'll be covering the rest of the teams eventually, but not now, as we're finally going to be able to battle against Freesh. Fresh. Him! The young boy from the Netherlands. So let's take a look at my opponent's team. He brought the Mega Gardevoir. So yeah, I don't really mind though. Sorry about that silence, very awkward. Didn't really mean to do that, but I was, of course, posting the link in another battle. So let's see. So Mega Guard, Edict Trust, Aurorus, Salamence. You've got the Empoleon, my baby, and Gengar. Love Empoleon, as you guys know. I'm planning on probably drafting it another time eventually. I want Quinpin 3 and Quinpin 4 to exist, and Quinpin 5 eventually. Anyhow, let's think about this. What's he going to? If I were my opponent right now, what would I want to lead with? Aurorus can set up rocks. Probably not his rocker. However, I'm going to bet Empoleon's going to be his rocker. Aurorus gets the very annoying Veil move, however, which I believe is what he's going to be going for. In the hell. Which which does sound very interesting right now. I think I'm going to go into Lizalfos for starters. If he goes for a Gengar, Mega Guard, that's fine. So we're leading with Heliolisk against Titania. Good pun, however, there had to be something sexual about it. Unfortunate. I don't see why I wouldn't want to go for the Thunderbolt here, so I will. As he switches out into the Salamence. That's the especially bulky Salamence. Interesting. I'm going to allow myself to go for the Volt Switch here. Probably switch into Epiphany and set up the Stealth Rocks. If he sets up, I'm just going to go for the kill with the Ice Shard. As in comes the Gengar, takes 56% damage. My opponent not bringing Crocodile, my opponent not bringing Staraptor shows that he may have not been prepping very well. That is unfortunate for him, but I'm going to very much take it. Let's see. We still don't know what kind of items this thing has yet. I could go into this setup and go for the victory right now. Oh, no, I didn't take Earthquake though, so I can't take on this thing. What do I want to go for? This is especially defensive, so I could set up rocks, which is always good. Or I could go for the kill here with Kyurem, which I may want to do. If I go into this, he may predict me to go for the Earth Power, the Ice Beam, and go into an Assault Vest Electrust, which would be very good for him. I don't really want to lock myself into anything right now. So, had I known he was going to switch, which was a bad play by the way, and he knows. Had I known he was going to switch into Gengar, I would have stayed and gone for the Thunderbolt. But I could also go into Mew and fill in with the Sucker Punch. If he's sub though, that would be bad. That would be pretty bad. So I'm just going to go for the middle play and go for the Dunfen. At least I can try and set up rocks. Or I could go for the kill alternatively. Alternatively, I could go for the kill. If he has Giga Drain, that would hurt a lot and allow him to heal a bit at all, which I don't want. Still, I need the rocks. Allows me to deal with Salamence that much more easily, so let's go for it. I am specially defensive after all. Let's go. Shadow Ball does a ton. He is Life Orb. So now we're going to switch into Lizalfos. We are Assault Vest, so if he goes for the Sludge Wave, we should be able to tank it. As he goes for the Shadow Ball again, easy peasy. We're going to go for the Thunderbolt. He has no switch-ins, so let's go. Only switch-in would be the Electrust, yes, but this thing can't heal. And it's going to not appreciate the damage at all. This is probably Assault Vest. If it is, I don't really care. I don't really mind. Let's just full switch out on this thing and go into perhaps KFC. He may go for the Drain Punch, and if he does, good play. But what else is there to do? He may go for the knockoff as well. I really don't know. Electrust is a great Pokemon against my team. However, I'm not particularly scared of it. I guess the Drain Punch would be unfortunate, and he may well go for it. Or he may go for the U-turn as well. He's not going for an electric move though. I'm going to Volt Switch into Togeco and then play him from there. Let's go. Volt Switch. Do a little bit of damage. Go into Togeco, the Togekiss. As my opponent goes for the knockoff. Excellent. I feel like I want to set up a Wish here and go into Epiphany. So yeah, let's go for a Wish. As he goes for the Wild Charge. Next we're going to go into Epiphany. on the U-turn. And now when this thing comes back in, it's not going to be able to tank 2 Thunderbolts anymore, which is great. In comes the Empoleon. We're going to heal back up. I don't really care what my opponent wants to go for. I'm going to go for the Earthquake. He's probably not going to Scald, fearing indeed his Ulthos. He's probably going to set up the Stealth Rock, so I'm going to go for the Earthquake. On the Shuckaberry, interestingly. But now we're going to go into this Ulthos. On the Scald, heal up with the Dry Skin. Go for the Thunderbolt. My opponent does not have a switch into Thunderbolt right now. Aurorus is not going to appreciate the Thunderbolt plus the Stealth Rock's damage. The Salamence dies if it comes back in. Gardevoir doesn't want to take damage. Gengar would die. Gengar dies. Gengar dies. He did manage to land his Cursed Body, however, which is a bit unfortunate. I have no clue what my opponent is doing. That's kind of a mess. In comes that thing. It looks like it might be Scarfed. And if it is physical, I may be into a world of hurt. If this is Scarfed Physical Aurorus, Frisch, you have earned my respect and I regret saying anything bad about your team so far. However, and if you're not, I'm going to take you out with this Focus Blast right now. As he is Scarfed, but he is special. So, being a special attacker, we're going to tank this hit very well thanks to the amazing power of the Acid Fest. Goodbye, Aurorus. It was nice knowing you. And Frisch probably cocked beforehand and realized immediately that we were indeed Acid Fest. So things are working very well for us right now. He's already declared that he's lost, which is unfortunate to say the least. I don't really want to tank anything from this thing. What do I go into? This is my chance to go into Epiphany, which I believe I'm going to take. We know this is defensive. Unfortunately, we don't have Thunderbolt anymore. Let's go Volt Switch. Into Dunfan, I guess. It goes for the Roost. I'm going to allow myself to go for the Rapid Spin right now. On the incoming Pussalina, which is Gardevoir. I really don't like his nicknames. I've never did. Like Forges for his Florges. I mean, I get it, but I still don't like it. Anyhow, let's go for the Earthquake on the Hyper Voice, which we don't tank very well at all. But we do tank, and now he's in range of the Ice Shard, so we take that kill very easily. In comes this thing. We're going to... I think now it tanks the Ice Shard, unfortunately. But even if it does, there's no point in not going for the Ice Shard. Alternatively, to keep it from healing up too much, we could go into Togekiss, sack it and go into this, or sack it and go into this. No, I think I want to Ice Shard here and make aggressive plays with the Sharpedo after all. So let's do that. Ice Shard, as it does 36% damage, which is not a lot. Not a lot at all. I'm struggling with my speech a lot today for whatever reason. If this is defensive, and it is, I guess I'm just going to go into Mew and probably tank anything. So let's go into Mew and look what he has. He went for the defog for some reason. So let's go for the ice beam, I guess. As in comes the Empoleon. Did we pack anything for the Empoleon? No, we didn't. We took Flash Cannon in order to take on the Gardevoir, so I guess I'm going to have to switch out into Lithilphos on the Stealth Rocks. Go for the Thunderbolt. We do land the kill. In comes this thing. I'm going to switch out here. Volt Switch. Volt Switch into what? Volt Switch into KFC, I guess, and go for the kills. Or do I want to get the KOs with Mew? Both are nice. Which I do want to take that 6-0 though, is the problem. So I don't want to risk anything. I guess I could go into this and go for the Side Shock, land the kill, go for the Ice Beam. Let's do that. I'm going to tank that knockoff fairly well. He went for the Drain Punch too, so maybe expecting the KFC. Kentucky is frozen chicken, by the way. I don't think I explained that joke before, but it is not fried, it is frozen. Let's go for the Side Shock here. Land the KO. Feeding Mew those sweet kills. We're going to go for the Ice Beam here and give our GGs. So good game, fresh. I'm very happy about this 6-0, obviously. Let me take revenge on that one battle that Freach actually did win against me in the SDL, which, picking order and all that. The team did very well, as expected. Very surprised my opponent didn't bring the starter. In any case, I'll cover the rest of the PBU teams eventually. For now, this video has gone on for long enough, and I'll be signing out right now. Comment, like, and subscribe. Subscribe for those of you who did enjoy the content, despite it being mostly me just talking